My little sort of sound well for it.
Testing.
Gordon, wow.
Woo!
Hi guys, welcome to Chicago. You should probably welcome us to Chicago because a lot of y'all are here for.
Yes, welcome.
Thank you. Yeah. This is what, number 4 here? 5?
3.
Next year's form.
All my lines are written for me, man. I'm paid to think. I'm paid to talk. How's it been going this weekend? Misha, do anything outlandish?
Yes.
Talking all about you.
Sure.
Does that anyway?
Pumpkin colored underwear. His underwear.
Pumpkin color?
I don't feel comfortable talking about
He actually, we should have pictures of this. He comes to set in the most outlandish, like flamboyant sweaters. We thought he was playing a joke or something. Because damn it was like this, just bizarrely, how would you describe? There are no words, are there? And so everybody's like, oh, I get it. Oh, you're not laughing. Oh, nice sweater.
Think like Where's Waldo style. It's really, and it's not Halloween. It is a little perplexing, isn't it?
Yeah. But I guess he can do that when he's playing England. I think he's, we call him a part-timer because he's doing, what has he done this year?
Nothing.
Episodes? Thank you, if he's there today. But so he always comes in, I guess he's like so bored from not working, he's like, maybe I can wear a funny sweater.
Remember me, guys? I'm the guy with the funny sweater.
Make his imprint. Last time we saw you, we hadn't had any episodes, had we? Vancouver, had we aired? How are y'all liking season 5? I had a funny conversation yesterday. A guy was a fan, and he was like, "Yeah, I love what they're doing. I love how like the Nutcracker thing." I'm glad you like that because I read it and I'm like, really? I'm reading going like, who did I piss off in the writer's room to get Nutcracker? He's going to speak Japanese.
Yeah, and every time it was time to say that line, still couldn't get it. And I'm leaning over to Hero, was the guy that the host. I kept asking him, "Quit holding your back."
So,
Yeah, that's you. Can't take him anywhere. Yeah, the Japanese, I just couldn't get it. It was such a surreal kind of scene to shoot because it was so, I don't know, that whole episode with the sitcom and the
did y'all like it? What has been y'all's? We
Yeah.
like that one. We read it. It was such a departure from our usual.
so outside the box. I was kind of nervous. I'm like, ooh, is this jumping the shark yet again?
How did y'all like Real Ghostbusters? That was kind of a shout out.
Yeah. Woo!
Those guys were hilarious.
I don't know where they got the idea for that show. They just threw stuff against the wall and saw it stuck.
We had a tough time keeping it together when Ernie was kind of doing his, "This is the cemetery." And we're sitting over, we're supposed to walk over, and he's like, "Check it out." So Jensen and I are like, "We can't laugh, we're about to enter the shop, we can't laugh." So sure enough, I got a mind of my own. I had to go back and watch those episodes to make sure I hadn't done it like that. I was like, oh,
And you might notice in like their coverage, you see Jared's shoulder actually shaking because he's going.
they held it.
Just not uncommon.
Yeah.
Was that Jim Carrey
Which one?
in the show there, the guy with the German accent? Was that Jim Carrey?
Was that? Yes. Yeah, we had Jim Carrey come through. He's going to reoccur. He fits us in right between his animated films.
What you the mic?
Stop touching it. No,
Did it look like him a lot? He was good.
CW does not have that kind of money.
Or if they do, they don't give it to us. He's gonna be
Well, they did, but then Tom.
We love Gossip Girl.
It's worth it.
I liked your commercial in Changing Channels.
Ah, woo!
Commercial? There were like like yoga people and other dancing. It wasn't simply mine. Yeah, that was a funny one. My mom was like sort of texting me during the episode. She's like, "This is really funny. Like y'all are riding a bike," and she's like, Once again, the gentleman I was talking to, I was like, I get hit in the nuts. I get into a herpes commercial. Yeah. I'm a car. I'm like a.
Yeah.
Which is cool. I grew up watching Knight Rider. I had like the little Knight Rider pedal thing when you're a kid. And
How many episodes of CSI did you suffer through to?
No. Here's if you go on YouTube, God love those YouTube users because they've actually comprised an entire montage of David Caruso doing the one-liners and the glasses. So all we really had to watch was that 30-second thing. Nailed it.
The swamp strut,
yeah.
and that most people swamp strut, and it was so perfect.
It was.
We're actors.
You know what's funny is that Bob Singer, we all know, he was like, "Have you ever seen Jim Carrey and David Letterman doing Caruso?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he goes, "That was your Caruso." I was like, "You were doing Jim Carrey, doing David Caruso."
Yeah, Gary was doing the Jim Carrey's version of
I just didn't feel comfortable channeling David. I didn't want to go there with my psyche. I didn't know if I'd
Just
ever.
once you go there.
Yeah, I didn't know. I'd heard rumors.
It's a dark road.
Yeah. What's funny is it actually has been a running gag on Supernatural, on set of Supernatural for like years. Whenever there's sort of a line that's a bit on the nose, we'll kind of do the plane crash here. You know? So it's funny that we get a chance to put that on camera. And apparently,
I actually got that, snuck that line in.
Yes, you did.
The plane crash here. That was not in the script.
no talent douchebaggery. That was.
That was not in the script.
Oh,
He has a little writing credit at the end. Written by Jensen Ackles. Apparently,
Get a wild hair.
apparently Shonda
Passionate
Rhimes
about
created
David
this.
Caruso.
Which?
I'm very passionate about David Caruso. Douchebag.
We have a friend, or we have somebody who works on set, and she's friends with Shonda Rhimes, who created Grey's Anatomy, her assistant. And she's like, apparently Shonda loved it, like, had a great time watching Dr. Sexy and watching Jensen's kind of fangirl reaction.
yeah, that was the best.
I thought that was really funny. I didn't know how that was going to turn out.
I like the doctor.
He stood there. He perfectly stood there, like, waiting for him.
That was good.
He was good. I have something to say. There's going to be an auction later today, and I grew up in San Antonio, Texas, doing like live plays. I know, yeah. Good on you. And my mom is a teacher still in San Antonio, and there's UIL is the school board. It's called University Interscholastic League, and it's the kids that go and compete in plays, compete in drama events. And so she's fundraising some money, so I figured I'd kind of help her out, and all the money is going to go to her students. But I'm wearing Sam Winchester's Season 3 watch. I'm a big watch fan. I have every watch I've ever had in a show or a movie going back to the first pilot I did when I was 17 years old. So I have Sam's Season 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 watches. So I'm walking in with Season 3 watch right now, but I'll be auctioning it for my mom's students. So it's going to a good cause, every dollar, every cent. It's going to go so these kids can compete in what I competed in school. And so just to let y'all guys know, when you'll see a watch, it's going to be.
And he's also auctioning off his pants. He probably won't go for nearly as much as that.
Unless someone can fit in it. That was sort of a tangent.
So technically savvy.
I know. You think after all this time, I know.
Absolutely.
You're going to sit there.
Have we run out of material to talk about?
You can dance. I can't dance.
What's that?
6'4".
In the end.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That was probably the hardest episode I've done on the series. That was and you guys should know the guy that played me wasn't playing me. They had actually gone through a casting process to see if they could find an actor to come and play. It's coming from the opposite way. And so I met with like 3 or 4 guys actually, and you know, just kind of rapped out with them, and we ended up going with this one guy, and he showed up. And the first scene that we shot was where Future Dean pulls up in the Jeep and then shoots the guy in the face, and so that scene was shot first, and then I did it with this guy. He just couldn't. It just wasn't working, right? So we immediately, the producers were like, "It's not working. It's just not, you know, it's not getting what we want." And so I said, "Listen, why don't we just get the guy who next to me has played Dean Winchester more than anybody, which is Todd Scott, my stunt double." So Todd Scott, who is an amazing stunt guy, and he's made me look like a badass since Dark Angel, actually. Who has never done on-camera lines or anything like that. I thanked him, and he was like, "All right, man, but you know, I'm gonna warn you. I don't know what to expect." And I mean, this guy was, he sat there in my trailer and was like, took it so seriously, and was running lines with me, and I mean, we're talking like 8 pages of dialogue a day for like 3 or 4 days. It was just Dean on the call sheet, so it was just me and him. All the stuff in the cabin and stuff like that, and it was just a mind boggle, because I'm so used to, as just like an actor, learning my lines. I think we've kind of fallen into the same just a routine, is that we learn our lines and then we get on set and the scene kind of comes together organically. You know, I react off of what he's doing, and he reacts off of what I'm doing, and that's just kind of where we find the nuances, as Kim Manners used to like always said. He was like, "All right, boys, find those nuances," and that's when we get. Generally, those happen while you're working on the scene, while the scene's happening. I didn't have that, so that crush that I've been using, I guess it's not really a crush, it's just. Was gone, and it was really strange for me, because I had to then think about what I was gonna do on that side of like for Future Dean, and react accordingly as this Dean, but I hadn't done that yet. So then I had to, after that, I could turn around, get dressed, and then remember what I had done, and then act accordingly. My brain was soup. And I called Eric after that episode, and I was like, "Hey, buddy, just so you know, I'm phoning in the next 5 episodes." So.
I can attest to the last day of last day of episode 3. I sort of like, I had 3 days off. I had a Friday and I had a Friday off. I was off like the first day of shooting, and so I like had a 3-day weekend. I had been down in Los Angeles, so I come back and I'm like, "Hey, I'm ready to do like my Lucifer scene," and Jensen's kind of like, "Okay, he's a little stressed. I'm going to my thing." Yeah, I think you would
But
hate it.
that Lucifer scene ended up being like one of my favorite scenes.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, he works like one day and he comes away with like stealing the episode at the end.
I love the twist.
And it was such a refreshing thing for me, because then all of a sudden, you know, I was working with him again. It was like, oh, finally, something normal. And it turned out to be, you know, really, really interesting.
It was a fun scene. I like the lighting effects. That was one of my favorite episodes when I read it, and it was kind of like it reminded me so much of the Terminator movies and the just sort of I Am Legend. And I was like, you get such a cool episode. It's so neat. My episode, I like.
And I was like, shoot me.
Yeah, by the end. But it was really. I think it was. Now, hopefully, in hindsight, it was worth the.
Yeah, it definitely was. You know, there's a nice sense of, job well done kind of thing. Yeah, you go. It's one of those. You finish it. It's like, whew, that was tough, but man, do I feel like I accomplished something good. So, yeah.
This is the first season where I feel like. I mean, we're halfway through episode 12 right now. We're over the hump, which is episode 11, and I feel like it's just blended together. Like I remember the end. I remember the last 2 that aired. But beyond that, it's been a blur. I'm trying to think of what's been going on this year.
I have no idea. After the end, it's all wash.
How was it to work with Chad Everett? Did he give you hints about
Oh,
being
yeah.
an idol?
I wouldn't know. we saw each other on set. And he actually showed up a little early, and he didn't like follow me around, but he just kind of, you know, would watch me work. He watched me do a couple of scenes just so he could kind of get the mannerisms, and I didn't realize that I was so Clint Eastwood like. Dude.
He had a great time. We all Chad Everett fans.
Yes.
Yeah. He was great. I actually had to work with him. You did not. Did you have any scene with? No.
Why would I? And Chad, you know, when Chad comes up to me, he's like, "No, man, I gotta tell you, when I read this, I'm like, oh, what a great opportunity for an actor, for you. You know, did you lobby for like doing the makeup and being an old man?" And I'm like, Chad, I read this script and I was like, woohoo, 4 days off. The only thing I saw. There's no opportunity there for an actor.
I love the scene with him and Jim in the graveyard.
Yeah. From the old man.
You got your hand up and you're being so polite.
Is Sam really still have bad blood in him because he always does nice things?
I think he always will. I don't think we've really touched on that too much, but I think he always will. And I mean, as we see, you know, and I guess the future can be changed, but he was Lucifer at least during the end. So that was supposed to be 5 years from now. So he's got to have something going on. And I think that was the idea, and that was sort of the arc last year, is that sort of tainted blood isn't something that you can kind of exfoliate and go like, all right, it's out of my system.
We're gonna get him into the Betty Ford
For demon blood. Interrupted. You.
Do you think that Dean has ever told anybody that Sam tried to kill him, that tried to strangle him?
I doubt it. I doubt Dean's ever told anybody anything.
He's a closed book.
We have a really cool episode though coming up where we have to sort of infiltrate an insane asylum, and so we have to act insane. And so, but the funny thing is, acting insane is us being us. Going like, I sucked demon blood, and then I killed. I started the apocalypse. I killed the demon.
Yeah, we just told them the truth, and they're like, the doctors don't want to keep me for observation. Okay.
We worked with a great actor, for those of you who know Napoleon Dynamite, John Breyer played Uncle Rico.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he's great. He's really funny.
He's really good.
Yeah.
He plays an old hunter, like one of Dad's friends.
Yeah, very much.
Yeah. Funny episode.
It's kind of on that. That was what, 10?
I don't know.
10 is huge. Did the girls or the guys give y'all any sort of, we always do a big episode 10 because that's always the big cliffhanger.
Yeah.
It is as well.
10 is next week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hiatus.
Colitis.
Hiatus. We call it hiatus.
I've never heard that.
Get
I
it?
was like, is that? I was like, is something my arm? Those for that, like H1N1? Swine flu and colitis. I like that. I never thought about that. Yeah.
It's a big episode. I mean, it's going to be one of the more epic ones. So.
And now we have a really cool set to shoot because the Watchmen set, which is about a block away, as y'all probably saw those who went to Vancouver, we shoot there all the time now. That was the end, obviously, and we get to go back for episode 10. It's kind of this great opportunity to build new cities and get more of a feel of the outside. And after 93 episodes or whatever of shooting all over Vancouver, we sort of shot it out, so it's nice. Now I've done it. One of these days, maybe like season 10. Season 10.
Do we have nights for dummies?
If I could waltz, I would. Cancel all. But yeah, we have a cool set to kind of play.
Yeah, of course, now that we... So, basically the set. Fantastic.
Drop it back.
Do you let him write anything electrical at all?
No.
I'm not allowed.
Speaking of though, we just got new bikes.
I know. Our little bikes are so.
We didn't enjoy that at all. No, you know the little scooters that we were riding. We upgraded.
Those were actually ours. Those little scooters that were on the green one and the little blue one were his, and we kind of ride them from trailer to set. You buy them a Canadian Tire, like plug them into a socket. But they're weight rated for like 120 pounds.
They're also age. I think it says 13 under, or 120 pounds and under.
So we're like double the age and double the weight. So we upgraded. We haven't figured them out that. Yeah. We figured out that ours have been on TV. We're gonna buy it.
That's right. That's right. So now we've got bigger, better, faster ones. Ones that actually get him around set.
He doesn't have to walk with us anymore. He just zips by.
Come on, guys. Here. Was that Cliff? How are we looking?
We're good.
We're good?
We have about 6.
All right.
You said in season 4, Jensen, that your favourite iconic scene was the hand coming up through the earth, and you know, when you came back to life.
Where was I in that scene?
Probably Los Angeles. Or Hawaii.
Can you just tell us how you filmed that scene? I presume they didn't tell you.
That was a Kim Manners episode. What he had done is he had had them dig a big giant hole, build a wooden box in the hole, then fill it over with earth. So there was like a little pipe for ventilation. And of course, we shot this in the beginning of July. It was not cold. And in the top of this kind of underground wooden box was just a hole cut by about that big wide, and they laid a neoprene type of membrane kind of over it, almost like a wetsuit, and it was just layered it was doubled over. So I had to kind of go like that, and then there was about this much dirt and earth to get through as well. And yeah, it actually turned out to be, man, was I freaking dying of heat in there.
The Oreos. This is my favorite part.
Oh, that was the worst. Yeah, and then that same episode when I wake up in the coffin and I break open I rip the wood off and all the dirt piles in and covers me up. That was actually, you know, you make Oreo pie crusts?
Yeah.
So it's like crumbled. Great idea, right? It was our makeup, our key makeup, Shannon, came up with the idea because the special effects guys are just going to use
Dirt.
Hey, Jason, we cleaned all the bugs out of this dirt for you. Thanks, Dar. And she was like, why don't you use, Oreo crumbs? And they were like, that's a great idea. Why didn't we think of that? So, in theory, it was a great idea. The only problem was it was so fine, and I forgot to put my earplugs in. So I was digging Oreo out of my ear for a week.
And free breakfast.
No, luckily not. Or this.
To give a talk, is actually fun.
Yeah, no, I don't think I'd be able to do the show if I was claustrophobic. It's just
That's a lot of.
tight spaces, yeah. Yeah, not fun.
How did you fit in those ducks in that episode, Family Remains? Tiny little ducks.
Not easy. In fact, just getting in was kind of a task because I had, the camera was there, and I had to crawl in, and I kid you not, like the hole to get in was maybe that big around, barely big. Like I couldn't get my shoulders through it. I had to go like this, and they were like, okay, if you just go in, head down and snake in, and I did that once in rehearsal. It just ripped my shins because it was all metal and wood. So to just rip my shins up, and I'm like, all right, I'm not doing that again. And I was like, there's got to be a way I can get into this, you know, a little more, a little better, and a little more stylish.
Vampire.
Yeah, vampire. And so I was like, wait, what if I went in upside down and then held on, and then it worked out, so, yeah. But it was very tight.
They were showing also, this was on a raised platform so they could get the camera in and around it and stuff, and so it wasn't like you're getting into it on the ground, you had to be on a platform.
You had to climb up on a ladder and then get in. I mean, the whole thing sat up about, you know, this high.
Yeah.
So, yeah, the things we do.
We appreciate it.
Oh, thanks.
Sure.
If there is going to be season 6, would you like to do that, and what possibly could you add to anything we've done already?
You know, if they keep writing and you guys keep watching, then I'll keep doing it. So.
Season 5 going like, geez, we've done, what, 80 episodes, and we've told a lot of stories, like how do they keep on thinking of things? I was like, I don't know what they're gonna think of, but now here we are, we're halfway through season 5, and it seems like they're on this whole new track, and so it'll be fun to explore it. We don't find out, I mean, it's that sort of hurry up and wait situation where they don't have to tell us till May or something. I don't know what is in the contract.
They usually tell us beforehand, but
They usually
they don't
will.
technically have to tell us until the announcements, which are usually.
We're hoping to hear in January, we hit episode 100, which is a cool milestone.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, you know, we'll all keep our fingers crossed and hopefully eke another year out of this. But I'm not making any promises. I want everybody to like go home and be like, woohoo, season 6. I don't know.
When is the 100th episode scheduled to be filmed?
We walked into this year with 82, so it'd be 18. It would be end of January. Right.
Yeah, well,
End of January.
I think the party's the end of January.
Right.
So that would make sense. It's probably right around.
Third and last episode.
It's the third to last episode.
A, B, C, D. Please direct all credit.
Extra credit for her. Yes.
Wait, one.
Oh.
I'm 41st.
Oh.
Let's do this question.
I wanted to walk forever, but if it was coming to an end,
Damn.
would you walk one brother after the other?
No. No.
I don't know. It's funny because I think it'd be pretty epic. Either that or we should both go out together.
Yes.
So you want both of us to die?
No.
At the same time?
Yeah.
Bullets will collide. Not supposed to be the last one, but you.
I'm gonna, yeah, one more.
Put all those different props and guns in the set while you're saying your lines.
What's that?
The props, the guns that they work on, let's like to say that with your lines.
How do you do that with the lines?
Yeah, let's like to work with that.
As far as what, the noise action or just generally,
It's actually
just literally doing
props and
the,
stuff while you're on set.
we play, I mean, we're always handling like the guns and stuff, so we're actually just very comfortable. I mean, like I'll sit there with my side-by-side sawed-off pistol grip shotgun and just be like twirling with it. And so we
Just like getting out of the way.
yeah. You know, and then our props, our on-set props. Her name's Robin. She'll be glaring at me, and they'll be like, "Oh, really?" And I'll take the whole thing apart immediately. Just be like, "See you later."
Yeah, and Jensen and I luckily have seasons and seasons of doing this stuff all the time. But Samantha Ferris, God love her, she's not really versed in the world of guns. So episode 10, which is about, you're going to see it this week, you've probably seen the previews, we're running, we're shooting shotguns, and we're carrying people, and we're kind of running off. Poor girl, we have these, they're full loads of
Blanks. The blanks. They're
But still, if you point at somebody and shoot, they're going to feel it. You know, it's not shooting at.
Well, there's also wadding that comes out of a blank, which is how. No.
Brandon Lee.
Which is how Brandon Lee died. Was the wadding that came out of a blank.
And so we're running, and I guess in the shotgun that she has, you're supposed to shoot it and you have to really give it this big crank to dislodge the empty shell.
It's a racket.
Yeah, but she kept on, and we're all kind of running back and shooting, and she'd kind of like not get it all the way down, and then she'd be like, and we're running the scene, and the camera operators are running, and they're on this like rickshaw type dolly, and people are like running with cords and cables, and the boom guys are running. It's like wet.
I'm carrying Alona, and I'm like,
and she'd fire, and then it wouldn't go. In the middle of the take, she'd be like, my thing is not. And we're going, Samantha! Put the gun down! It didn't fire!
still got live rounds in it, right? She's like, it's not.
And she was like getting scared. We were like, and she's like, what? And she's like, what? Tease her about that next time you see it.
All right, guys, we're gonna head. So.